Welcome back to Blender for Blogs. I am Justin, of course, your host of the Blender for Blogs video editing series here in Blender. And last time we talked about, actually, last two times we talked about text. So, putting this text here on this chalkboard in our background, we talked about a couple different ways that you could do that. We used Google Slides, and then we also used Blender to create images to then import into our scene. And today we're going to look at how to do the bulleted effect just like this. Or creating bulleted lists of all your important things or other. Just like that. So you have my list of awesome and then boom, 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 boom. I'm just going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. Actually, I'm going to show you 4 different ways to do this. So I've actually created some scenes here with 4 different ways you can make your bullet list. We've got pix individual lines, pix using a group, and I'll show you those in a minute here. We got a bullet list using a mask, and then using mask animation. And the first 4 here are going to be in Google Slides, and then I'll show you just briefly how you can achieve a similar result in Blender. So let's get started here. Bullet list 1 with individual pictures. So what I mean by that is each individual picture is one line on the bullet. So you have the different bullets, so we just export those out as different pictures just like that. And I will show you how I did that. So let's go over to our bullet list 1, and this is again in Google Slides. So basically what I did first, my first slide, I just made the bullet list and all of the things that I want on here. But I made each of these as separate text boxes. So basically just made one text box, I duplicated it and slid it down. And a cool thing with Google Slides is that if you start sliding stuff down, you see these guidelines to where you can line things up with each other, which is really cool. So if you drag this one down and hit Control, and that will copy it. But if I hit Shift as well and I hold that, it goes straight down. So I'm not, even if I accidentally move to the left or to the right a little bit, it doesn't wiggle that, it holds it straight down. So basically what I did is just moved it till it lines up with the bottom edge of this text box. And then I let go, and there you go. And now they are evenly spaced. So that's what I did with all of those. And like I said, the first slide is with all of them together. And then what I did is I just copied each of them to different slides. So basically, what I'll do, I mean, obviously you get what I'm talking about, but just for those of you who want to see it, I just Control C to copy this with this selected. Come here. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate these out here, and I want 5 of them because we got 1 with the title and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So coming back up here and copy this again, Control C, Control V, paste, and it pastes it right in the same exact spot as this one, which is really cool. So I'm just going to do that with all of them. So copy, and then next one, paste. Come up here, awesome thing 2, copy, paste, and I'm just doing Control C and Control V. Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and boom, copy and paste. There we go. And then what you'll want to do is, again, make sure your resolution matches your resolution in your project. So mine is 1920 by 1080, so I'm not going to change that. And you can go down to page setup, file, page setup to do that. And then hit pixels from where it says inches, or however you want to set that up. And then you can select the slide you want to download and go download as PNG, and there you go. And then you can save those there. And I actually saved all of them for bullet list 1. So I saved all of them, which is my slide 1, and then I saved the title, and then I saved awesome thing 1, awesome thing 2, awesome thing 3, and then super awesome thing, the SAT. And I'm not going to do it again, of course. So going back to Blender, basically I just added all of those in here. And actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and show you how I added those in. But before I do that, I'm going to save it as another iteration. And by the way, I think we left off on 5.13 last time. I saved it a couple of times just to prepare for this video. So you don't have to match my 0515 here if you don't want to. But I'm going to go ahead and save this as, not save, but save as, and plus 16 here. Oh, that's a beautiful face right there. Should take a screenshot of that. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just gonna select all of those. Actually, I'm gonna hit A couple times, make sure everything is deselected. I don't want to accidentally delete something that I had selected way off in the corner. Erase strips. Marker, jump to previous marker, because I made a marker to where I wanted to start here, the bullet list. And again, all you have to do is hit M to do that. So if I'm over here, M, and then Control M will let you rename that. So, but I'm going to delete that marker because I don't want that. Go back to the previous marker. All right, Shift A, image, go to my bullet list 1. Now, I don't need all of them. I just want to start with the title. So we're going to start with that. But I'm actually going to click and drag, just like you would in the program, and I'm going to click and drag through all of those to select those. I'm going to hit Image Strip, and basically it's going to combine all of those images into one strip here. So if I play through the strip, it's just really quick. My list of awesome thing 1, 2, 3, so on. So, and each of them are just a single frame long. Now that's not obviously what I want. So first thing, change my blend mode to overdrop so we can see it over the chalkboard. And then with this selected, I hit Y, and Y will let you separate images. And length, you can choose the length in frames. I'm going to choose 50 and say OK, and boom, if I scroll out here, there we go. We have 5 of them. Or creating bulleted lists of all your important things, or other transitions like wiping in or wiping out. So you can see that, and obviously we got to change some things here, but what you have to do with when you download the individual PNGs or the individual images is that you have to overlay them. So basically, we just have to, move these up and move this up and move this up and then move this up, and I'm just hitting G and Y to move them up, and then I'm going to actually smash them all together, at least the fronts of them, and come over here and go marker, jump to next marker, so it's right there. Oh great, I just deselected all of those. Let's actually, you know what, just do this. Make sure they're all selected, Shift S, boom, so that they're all lined up, so you can see all of them there. And then I'm going to just select all of the handles here and just hit G and just drag those out a little bit. There we go. I don't know exactly how far I want to go, but now what we can do is adjust these. So I found that every 10 frames was good, so because this is actually a really quick part of my video. So if I play this, or creating bulleted lists of all your important things. So basically it's from here to there. Things or other transitions. Yeah, so basically this is where it ends. So I found, and you can play with this, you can kind of just adjust these as you want, like that. But I actually found, if I put this back up here, jump to next marker, Shift S, I found that every 10 frames works well. So what you can do is select the handle, hit G, and then type 10. Boom, there we go. And it will just move it 10 frames up. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. It looked far. Maybe it's because I've zoomed in quite a bit here. So, all right. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. So I could either do G and then Control to snap it here, and then G10, to do another 10. Or if, since I know this is 10, this would be 20, and this would be 30. So G and 30, and then G and then 40. There we go. So now it's going to come in every 10 frames. So let's look at what that looks like. Or fly in, or creating bulleted lists of all your important things. There you go. So that looks pretty good. Now, depending on your video and your presentation and the time between your points, these are probably going to vary at different speeds. So maybe not all of them are going to be 10 frames. It's not going to be even like that. Maybe some are going to be closer to each other and some are going to be further apart. And then, of course, you can just line them all up at the end by selecting all of these. You can do Control Select, and it will select all of those. Just make sure nothing is below it or above it that will be selected. And then you can either G or, Shift S to snap it to the timeline cursor. Okay, so that's bullet list number 1. Let's look at bullet list number 2. Bullet list number 2 is a lot cleaner, and I actually prefer, this is what I used in my video. This used to be my preferred way. I may have a different preferred way now, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But this is grouping the lines together. So you start off with the first line, my list of awesome, which is this one, and then the next one you just add to it. So you're grouping these two together. That's just one image here. So, and then the next one you have 3. And then the next one you have 4, and then the next one you have all 5 in just one picture. So let me show you how I accomplished that one. So go over to bullet list number 2. So again, I started off with just making one slide with all of them on there first. So basically, instead of making an individual box for each of them, it's just one so that I can control the formatting and have the same formatting be on all of these. So I've got our bulleted list up here, and then I can also adjust, if I select everything, I can also just adjust like the line spacing, for example. And I can, just make it how I want it to be. Maybe I make instead of a bullet list, I make a numbered list. That's useful, so you don't have to copy, paste, drag, copy, paste, drag. You can just type out everything in one text box. Anyway, so I did that, and then what I did, of course, was just copy this one, because this one is separate from these. Copy that, and then what I did was, and let me just go ahead and delete these, and what I did was actually just copy 5 of these, just like this, and 6 so we can keep our full one there. This one would be nothing, so I would just delete this. And then this one will be awesome thing 1, so I'll just take this and delete everything in here, just like that. And since I'm just adding to it, now I'm just going to delete everything. Oops, don't move it, but delete everything except for awesome thing 1 and 2. So there we go. So we got a list of awesome, awesome thing 1, awesome thing 2, and you can see you have the same effect, but again, one picture contains all of these instead of each individual separate picture. This one will delete this one and leave awesome thing 3, and of course this one will be all of them. So it looks like this. Oh, and this is also a good technique for PowerPoint presentation where you don't want to actually do the animation because that can be a little tedious. Then you just copy and paste things just like this. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to do, tell you in this bulleted list is that if you download the pictures just like this, they will contain this background. This is not a transparent background. I forgot to tell you about that step. So basically what you'll want to do after you have everything you want here, you're using this background here just as a guide to know where to place all of your bullets. But after you do that and you're satisfied, what you want to do is select all of these by clicking on one of them, hold shift, and then click on the last one that you want. It'll select all of those in the row. Click on background, color, and then transparent, and then done. And then you want to go and file download as PNG, and you'll have to do it individually like that on the default Google Slides. Now that there is a way to download them all at the same time, and I'll get to that in a little bit here. But before that, before I forget, same thing here, shift and select all of those, go to background, transparent, done. Now I can download those individually. Well, actually, I'll just show you now. If you go to your add-ons, if you go to get add-ons, you can scroll through here and then search your add-ons. But if you just type in tool or toolbox, enter slides toolbox is what you want. It will say free. Just click that and it will install that for you. And then when you have those in, what you're going to want to do is go select your slides you want to download. Go to add-ons, slides toolbox, open. That'll open this slides toolbox here. Export tools, and then down here, export slides PNG, and it's going to export all of the ones that you have selected. So it's really easy. Hit that. It'll give you a zip file, and you can save your zip file to your hard drive right here, which is what I did, and then I just extracted it into a folder by itself. And of course, this one would be the bullet list too. Okay, so once you have your images, go back into Blender, and what I did here, so let's select these and delete. Let's go back to our marker, add image, and bullet list 2. Now, instead of adding all of them at the same time, I'm just going to add one to show you a different kind of workflow. So over here, blend mode over drop. So here I'm just going to go and I'm going to slide this to where I want it to be. So which actually would be 10 from here. So I'm just going to move this up 10. So I'm going to go down here, hit plus 10. There we go, and then Shift S. And let's zoom in here, Shift B to zoom in. All right, so that's where I want that one to end. And then what I'm going to do is, instead of adding a new image, I'm just going to Shift D to duplicate this and hover over here. I can either press Control to snap that, or if I just hover over it where you see the red outline and click, it will automatically place that right at the end of the other strip. Now, of course, these two are the same right now, but if you name them with a good naming convention, you will be able to quickly choose the next one. So if you number them, so like this, I have bullet list 201, which is the title. So I know that the next one is going to be bullet list 02. So if I click this, make sure because when you duplicate it, it does select this one, and this makes this the active one. However, my timeline cursor is still over here, and it's showing this one. So watch. So if I go ahead and change the data files, so this one is selected, and it's the active one, change data files. It was bullet list 1, now I want bullet list 2. So double click, and boom, now it's bullet list 2, but we don't see anything. Well, that's because the timeline cursor is not over this one, it's over this one, so just make sure you're aware of that. So now the timeline cursor is over here, we can see our awesome thing 1. And same thing, now we know that this is 10 frames in length here. That's also another way I could have done that. All I'd have to do is set the length to 10, and that would have been just fine. That would have probably been faster. Anyway, Shift D to do the next one. And of course, this is bullet list 202. So I want to change data files and select 03. And same thing, duplicate, Shift D, change data files 04, and Shift D, change data files 05. There we go. So now, and then we can just stretch that one out because the last one has the whole list on there, and we can extend that for however long we want. So let's just take a look at that. Or creating bulleted lists of all your important things. All right, so that looks decent enough. It's a little choppy just because it's playing in Blender. But after you render it, it'll be smoother. And this style, by the way, could be very useful if you were actually creating a course or a PowerPoint presentation where you just wanted to show the slides. So for example, going back over to our Google Slides, I have made just dummy text and dummy graphs. They don't mean anything, and I've just kind of repeated them. But what you can do is just like this, you could just cover your whole screen in the slideshow examples, and then all you have to do is record your audio where you talk about your title page, and then you talk about your page 1, where it's not page 2 because it says this is not page 2, but you have points scored here and blah, blah, blah. And then when you're ready, you can move on to page 2, which is not page 1 because we were just on page 1. And we have a nice different graph here with the bar graphs. And then we have page 3, which is neither page 1 nor page 2, but we do have a nice line graph here to show you. So it's important to note that I'm not actually using the present mode in the PowerPoint. So I'm not actually presenting, I'm just using the images as overlays in Blender. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just recording my audio first, and then I can import these slides in as images by, remember, if I come over here and if I just, I can either do Control A to select all of them, go to my add-ons, slides toolbox open, export, and then export PNG. That'll export all of those slides so you don't have to do them one at a time. And this is much easier too because you're not dealing with transparency. You don't need to see anything in the background. You're just showing slide by slide, point by point. And then you would come into Blender and then you would adjust each slide however long it needs to be. And you can do it just like we were doing this, one at a time. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is stop here because we're already past 20 minutes and we've only done the first 2 methods for the bullet effect. And so I think I'm going to split this video up and do the second 2 methods in the next video. So stay tuned and you'll see me over there.